Hello, Detroit. I'm Cynthia Deanna, the cake artist of J. Romel's Cakery. I specialize in custom cakes, weddings, baby showers, you name it. I do it all. I have an Instagram. You can find me on J. Romel's Cakery and Facebook as well under Cynthia Deanna. The contact number to book cakes is 248-910-3417. Book with us today.
Hello, Detroit. It's Dr. Carla from House of Healthy Living. If you or a loved one are struggling with a chronic condition and you want to walk the natural path, check me out on Instagram at A Dose of Dr. Carla, or you can find me on the web at www.houseofhealthyliving.com. That's house, H-A-U-S, of healthyliving.com. My phone number at the office is 313-946-9644. And the email address is info@houseofhealthyliving.com.
Peace. What's going on, Facebook? What's going on, Facebook family, YouTube family, Instagram family, all of the different platforms all around the country. I appreciate you guys for joining us today over here on Revolutionary Wealth Builders on the 7 Mile Radio podcast platform and network. Today we have a very robust and comprehensive show for you. We will be talking about land acquisition, why it is important, and how to acquire land. I just want to send a shout out to the super producer Mark, who I'm getting ready to introduce to you guys as usual in a second, for those dope commercials for some of our customers who have decided to advertise with us over here on Revolutionary Wealth Builders. Shout out to our sponsors, supporters, and I'm gonna turn it over to the super producer 7 Mile Mark.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man.
It's good, man. It's another day of information, man. I'm looking forward to it. You broke down a little bit about this topic somewhat before, as you broke down the three different arms of wealth and what it is and what it means to our people. And, now we're talking about one of those legs and how to acquire them. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to the information that you bring on this day as usual.
Absolutely.
Always learn something on Revolutionary Black Wealth Builders podcast, man.
Absolutely.
So appreciate you coming through and dropping the jewels, man, that you always do.
Absolutely. No doubt. I, for me, this is real simple. I just want people to tap in and get the knowledge and then use it to better their lives. I have no other motive.
Right.
I have no other incentive. All I want people to do is get the information and use it to improve the quality of living for them and the ones that they love. That's it.
Most definitely.
And so today we're going to talk about land acquisition. So on last week, you guys remember we talked about the three stools, the three legs on the stool of dynastic wealth, if you guys remember. Mm-hmm. And one of the legs on the stool is land or real estate, because they last for a long time. Dynastic wealth is wealth that stays in a family for at least 300 years. Wealth is something that you own and control and can pass down to your next generation. And so what's going on, Yolanda? So dynastic wealth lasts for a long time. In order for something to last that long, it must be durable. So land that is from the earth is, of course, durable. Real estate is durable, but today we'll specifically be talking about land. So what is land? Land is something that God gave us to do the things that we need to do to have a high quality of living. You can create privacy on land. You can build a home on land. You can feed your family from the land. So the land is the most important thing. There's a group of like-minded revolutionary thinkers called Black to the Land. I think about my brother Kwa over at the Shed and the phrase, that New Africans use, free the land. The land is the most important part of the revolutionary equation, because without land, you have nothing. But once you secure land, you have secured power, because you can feed your family, you can feed your group, you can feed your village, you can feed your tribe, but you can also build on the land. And so for me, all of what we talk about, it's about the land. So now we want to acquire all of these other things, but the land, even when the land has a hole in it and there's water in the land, you can go fish in that hole. But ultimately, the land is where the power is at. So I just want people to understand that, and I want you to chew on that for a second while I go into the comments real quick and kind of see what's going on in the comments. Peace, brother. This is Tory Lynn Hawkins. I'm on my daughter's page because Facebook got me blocked. Facebook then blocked the sister Tory Lynn for bringing the truth.
Working on it, Yolanda.
Yeah, for bringing the truth to power.
As they always do, man. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I'm having such a struggle on Facebook with the fan pages for the station. Like, we drop a lot of conversation that, you know, we got these new people on social media that are deemed the fact checkers, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So anytime that you say something that is counter informational to what the fact checkers feel like is truth, then they're going to flag you and take your information down. No matter even how true it is, it just maybe something that they don't know about.
Exactly. Well, I don't even think that it's actually fact checkers. I think that, I mean, they use the term fact checkers.
It's an automated system.
But really it's just censorship. If they don't want that information to touch people's ears and eyes, they have to discard it and get rid of it. And that's essentially what that looks like. But what I will say is they destroyed mine. They just shut down my page. I never been to Facebook jail. They just shut the page down and said, you're blocked. You can no longer use this page. I only had 3,000 friends. But
on your Facebook page?
The Emmett Black RWB Facebook page is a new page. I had 3,000 friends, and I was doing the live truth, and I was getting 1,000 views on the live truth every Wednesday at that time when I was doing the show. And so it started to get the rumblings, the following.
Right.
And in a minute it was going. I had one show that had 3,000 views. Now that's not really a lot compared to, you know, how you be banging it out. But it was just a regular Facebook page, and it was starting to get a lot of traction. And
you're right. You said it. You hit the nail on the head. Censorship more so than, and I guess I said it like that because that's what they call what they're doing on social media. They call it fact checking. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's not a person that's sitting there reading and deeming what you say factual or not. It's more an automated thing where they're censoring it and calling it fact checking for the sake of feeding it to it for that way.
Absolutely. So hang in there, sis. We gonna try to wait for you. As long as we can, we're going to hold on and wait for you until you can get back with us 100. So, but we're talking about land acquisition today. And we're talking about why it's important right now. And then in the second segment, we're going to talk about how to acquire land, some things that we can do. There's more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Right.
But we want to talk about why land is important. Land is what feeds us. The farmers are who feed us. The farmers and the truckers are two of the most important components of our quality of living. And if the farmers are not growing food, if men are not putting their hands in the dirt, in the soil, then we don't eat. Shout out to Baba Malik Yakini. Shout out to Liberated Farms. And so just people who grow food, who understand the importance of it and continue to work and share in that reality. And even when you grow your own food in your backyard, you are doing yourself and your family a service because you know a few things. One, there are no GMOs in your food unless you put them in there. I mean, no pesticides in your food unless you put them in there. Your food grew from your soil, so you know exactly what it is. And there is no question as to what you are putting in your body. There is a level of power that comes with knowing that what you are taking in came from your hands and the growth that you put into the ground. And the seed process of opening up a hole in the earth, putting a seed in the ground, watching it grow to maturity, and then using that for nutrition and for sustenance. It is one of the most powerful feelings on the planet because you created something, grew it from birth, and then brought it to harvest to do the job that it was supposed to do. It's almost like raising children. And so there is no more important job on this planet than to make sure that you have a relationship with the earth and the soil. When we were younger, we didn't understand that because we were trained on city living, and the masses and the media and those who are in control of the narrative wanted us to believe that being urbanized and living in inner cities was actually chic and it was slick and it was cool. And to be a farmer would mean that your lifestyle or your quality of life was lesser than someone who lived in the inner cities, and that is just not accurate. I go play in this softball tournament in Columbus, Ohio a lot. And if anybody familiar with Columbus, Ohio, you know that there's a large population of farms, and the Amish operate there. You could see 100 Amish men lifting up an entire pole barn and moving it from one place to another on any given day. They use manpower to do everything. They still ride horses. They still churn butter. They don't rely on a lot of the modernized ways of doing things because they know that they are not going to last. And so why play games with that when we can just stay on the tip we on and then master and perfect what we are doing? You can learn a lot from the Amish. People talk about them and laugh at them, but they are actually some of these one of the smartest groups of people on the planet, along with our African brothers and sisters who are still doing it right over in the motherland and then over in some of these Caribbean countries. And so the land, there is nothing more important than the land. Without the land, you have nothing. You can't eat. Think about this.
Everything that is above ground comes from below, the food,
the wealth. Everything that is wealth on this planet came from the ground, from the wood, from even the brick and the stone.
Iron, all of it. The
iron ore. There is nothing above ground that does not come from the earth. So when you own land, you have everything that you need. And so it is important that you acquire at least a lot, a quarter of an acre, a tenth of an acre, an entire acre. And for those of you who don't quite know or understand what an acre is about 1.3 football fields. So, well, no, I'm sorry, 0.83 football fields. So a football field is about 3/10 larger than an acre. So let's just say that on average, just with the eye, an acre is about a football field. That's a lot of land.
Minus an end zone.
Yep, that's a lot of land.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's a lot of land. And so if you get 1 acre, and a 1 acre could be as inexpensive as $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. But you can also pool your resources and do something like a co-op and pull resources together to buy a acre of land. But an acre of land, you can build a house on an acre of land, a homestead, a chicken coop. You can have a basketball court. You can have a skate park, a skate park, a rollerblade park. You can build all of this on 1 acre of land. An acre of land is a lot of land. It is a lot of land. And to put that in perspective, you probably can put 22,000 square foot homes on 1 acre. Now, they would be in close proximity to one another, but that's a lot of property. And so you can do a lot with 1 acre. What's up, Cynthia Deanna? What's good, Ricky Hayes? Let me see what Toy Leon is saying. They blocked your page because the information you was given was and is very powerful. If many listen and do what you say, we could become powerful. Hey, well, I appreciate that, sis, and I'm trying. You know, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them do what? There you go. So, but the land, when we acquire the land, we are acquiring power. I remember I was watching a movie, and a man took his son out to the backyard of this big, they had this big plot of land, like 5-10 acres in the back of their house. And he put him down on one knee, and he said, pick it up. He picks up some soil, and he says, what do you have in your hand? And he says, dirt. And he says, no, man. He says, you have life. You have ownership. You have everything that we need, and you have everything that we need in your hand. This belongs to us, and we can do whatever we need to do to take care of ourselves. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
And so land is the most important thing of all of this. So today's show was going to be titled Civil Unrest, Pestilence, and War. But I knew you guys didn't want to hear that. So I'm bringing you the solution to those things, which is owning your own land. Civil unrest, if they tripping in the city, you can go to your land. Put you a little single wide trailer on your land. Put you a little fifth wheel camper on your land. Put you a little tiny house on your land. But get you some land. Get you some land. Get you some land. Get you some land. You and your family come together. Everybody put $1,000 a piece up and go to landflip.com. 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 Put in your parameters and filters and your price range and try to find you 1 acre of land. Your land could be in the South. It could be in Michigan. They sell land in Jackson, Michigan. They sell land in Taylor. They sell land in a plot of land in Inkster. You can buy a huge lot in Inkster, put a fence around it and grow food. And you may only grow food seasonally, but don't think that you can't acquire land. You have enough money to acquire land. If you got $500, you can buy some land because you can buy a lot from the city. And you can take that earth and turn it all over, or you can put 15 raised bed gardens on that land, and you can grow food from the raised bed gardens. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You have enough money to buy land. You have enough money to buy land. You have enough money to buy land. And if you don't have enough to buy the land that you want, connect with other family members and friends and build a land trust. And then get to use that land trust to come together, co-op, and buy 1 acre. I promise you, there are homesteads on 1/10 of an acre. If 10 of y'all bought 1 acre and y'all put $400 a piece in and bought 1 acre for $4,000, for $400, you can build everything you need to sustain yourself for the rest of your life on that land. It won't cost $400 to build everything, but you can build a house and a big garden, have a chicken coop, sell eggs, have chickens. You can put a shooting range on your property with 1/10 of an acre. 1/10 of an acre is huge. 1/10 of an acre is like the equivalent of, let's take the end zone of a football field. That's 1/10 of an acre, and that's a lot. That's like 5 houses and all the land that the 5 houses sit on. That's like 1/10 of an acre. So your 5 houses next to you, next to you, next to you. So if you go outside and look at 5 houses worth of land, the front all the way to the curb, that's like 1/10 of an acre. That's a lot of land. You can build more than 1 house on it. So 1/10 of an acre, if you bought 1 acre of land for $4,000, 10 people, $400 a piece, you cooking with Crisco. They have land. Look in Florida. Think about the places where you have family members that you are very, very close to. You got family members in Atlanta, then look in Marietta, look in Mechanicsville, look in Decatur, look in the outer metro Atlanta areas to find land. Now, land is expensive in Atlanta. You got family in Dallas, look in Briscoe. I mean, look in the Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth area on the outskirts of those areas. You live in California, look in Vallejo, go look up in Sacramento. Look in different places where you can find land that you can afford. Now, if you go further south in Georgia towards like Savannah and places like that, you might have action. You got places like Arkansas that you still can have action, Oklahoma. But one of the places that I've learned that has a lot of land, is one, West Virginia and North Carolina. There's a lot of counties throughout North Carolina, and there is a lot of accessible land. Land is not inexpensive in North Carolina, so you're looking at somewhere between $4,000 to $7,000 per acre on average. But again, aggregate. I mean, bring and pool together your resources.
Is it a reason why it's that much land in those specific states or
available?
Yeah.
It's just that it's larger states and they haven't been tapped into. Like when you're dealing with the Atlanta, Georgia area, so many people moved there and then it started to spread out. And the larger states, you're going to find some little nooks and crannies. There's some outer rural areas right outside of Austin. Austin is a farm-like area anyway in Texas, but right outside of Houston. But when you're talking about places like North Carolina, there are some rural areas in I want to say Sumner County, North Carolina. These places, it's just a lot of land and there's a lot of farming out there. And don't get scared because it doesn't take much to put you an electrical pole in the ground, run water from the street, or tap into the well water in the ground, put you a septic tank in the ground. That's going to be so you for when you to set up your bathroom. So you when you build your home, your home will be able to flush out, all of the stuff that you put in the toilet. It goes to the septic tank. If you don't have a municipal water supply running from the street, you can go 200 feet underground and you can get well water, put a filter system on it. You can run and build your electricity. There are ways to skin this cat. I'm telling you, and it's not going to be that hard for you. You just have to ask the right questions and do the right research. But acquire you some land. You have enough money. You have enough money. You have enough money. The people that survive all of the things that I believe are coming are going to be the people that can pivot and be able to move to another place until things calm down, and then you can come back and rebuild.
Disconnect themselves from being so dependent on
absolutely
the modernized ways of how we're living right now.
Absolutely. God is going to give us a gift, and that gift is going to be to force us to be self-sufficient. And once we learn the ways of old and we can pass those down to our children, we will reinstitute an entire process of being self-determined. And that's what all of this is about, self-determination. Self-determination.
A lot of people suggest that that's kind of what COVID initiated, when it forced us to, homeschool our kids and come up with our own, everybody had their own business that they started, you know what I mean? And, just a lot of things where we had to revert back away from depending on the things that we were normally dependent on every day and kind of come up with our own ways to survive, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, I guess what a lot of people feel like was the beginning of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So COVID was what they call the Black Swan event. A Black Swan event is an event that no one saw coming, that does a lot of damage and leaves a trail of damage as it flows through, like the Spanish flu in 1890s or whatever, whenever it was. The Spanish flu that happened right before the Depression in the early 20th century, late 19th century, early 20th century. And essentially, it's a chain of events. There are a lot of things going on. But to your point, all of these things are what we're going to need to be self-determined anyway. And so I personally believe that God is setting us up for us to win in the future, and where we don't have to rely on the people who oppress us to feed us, to educate us, and to make sure that we are healthy, because they're not going to do any of those things moving forward, and they haven't been doing a good job in the past anyway.
Yeah, actually.
So it is important that we acquire our own land, people. Acquire some land, acquire some land, acquire some land. And so now I want to talk a little bit about some different things to do on the land, right? So we know we would grow food, right? But land provides privacy. There are a lot of things you can do on your land that you can't do in the inner city. You can have target practice on your land. You can have exotic animals on your land. You see what I'm saying? You can secure the perimeter of your land. You can, even if you have a record on your property, you can carry your weapon on your land. And all of these things, a lot of things, you can't go stand in your front yard with your weapon out if you don't have a concealed weapons permit. See, having land gives you a level of power and privacy that you could never imagine in the inner city. And see, when people walk on your land and they step 1 foot on your land, they have now put themselves in a situation where if you said, get off my land, or I think you're a threat to me, and you feel like you need to be violently aggressive toward that person, you can't do that when somebody walk on your grass in the city. But when they walk on your land and you living somewhere in Texas, you are now in the equivalent of being in the house in Detroit. So when somebody walk in your house in Detroit, you have the right to protect your house. Mm-hmm. You can protect your land the exact same way. Your land. And it's a big difference. And growing food is going to be the most important skill that we acquire over the next couple of years. But growing food is a beautiful thing, because everybody can learn how to and master one food that you can take to the farmer's market and sell for money. Once you get land, you almost don't need to go get a job.
Right.
Because you can grow all the food you need to eat, and then you can sell all your potatoes and eggs and make $500 a month and pay your light bill, your gas bill, and your water bill. You won't even have to go to work no more. You can just work on your land. And see, a lot of people don't understand that. They think that being a farmer is whack. Being a farmer, let me tell y'all this. The farmer is going to have more women than anybody else. So I'm going to make it and put it in plain terms. In 5 to 7 years, in 3 to 5 years, the farmer will be the most sought after man based on his job. He will be the most sought after. He will be the most important person. And the second most important person will be the holistic health practitioner. Those and the doulas. These are going to be the most important people. The most important people. And then will be the people who fix and build. So it'll be the farmer, the holistic health practitioner, i.e. the naturopathic doctor, the doula, and then the builders. Those are going to be the most important people in your community. And the farmer is going to get all the love from the ladies. I'm telling y'all that right now. The farmer going to get all the love from the ladies. The farmer is going to be the guy that everybody is going to be real friendly with. I'm talking about real, real friendly. So you better know how to grow food. Because if you can't grow food, your woman is going to go to a man that does know how to grow food and does take care of a garden. Because she going to need to eat. So I'm just letting you know. What's up, Jenny G and Gardner? So now I want to talk about some places where you can acquire land. So let's start with some real simple local places. Go to the land bank and see what type of land they have for sale. Today I'm going to go look at a piece of land over on the east side, and I want to build something on the land if the zoning will allow me to. But I could always still put a little garden over on the land. Mm-hmm. And so look around the city. Check out the land bank. Check out different municipalities. Oakland County now has a land bank. So check out the different municipalities and see what land is for sale. Google land for sale in Detroit. Google land for sale in Texas. Google land for sale in Atlanta, Georgia. Google land for sale in Florida. Google land for sale in Ohio. Ohio is another place that has a lot of rural space where you can be even an hour away, like Oregon, Ohio, close to Toledo, Savannah, Ohio, close to Toledo. You could be an hour away from Detroit and get you a large plot of land for about $3-4 grand, you and your family. The goal is to have a piece of land. You can do this. It's not hard. You can do it. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. It is not expensive. It is not expensive. It is not expensive. It has always been kept secret because the wealthy know that the three legs on the stool of dynastic wealth is land and real estate, precious metals, and artwork. And they want to keep those things private. But this is what I will tell you. Look at how much land Bill Gates is buying up. Look how much land George Soros is buying up. Did y'all peep?
Well, Bill Gates, I believe, owns the largest amount of farmland now in the country or the world.
He might own the most in the world. So why do you think Bill Gates, the first thing I'm going to tell y'all is that these wealthy white devils do what they are doing. You don't have to do it how they do it, and you don't have to do things the way that they did things in order to acquire their wealth.
For the reasoning that they do it.
But you have to understand why they are doing what they are doing, and you have to make certain that you are doing some of the things that they are doing. We don't want to be like them, and we don't want to drink the poisons of Western civilization. But if they're acquiring land, you need to be acquiring land. You need to be acquiring land. Land is going to give you the power that you need to be self-sufficient. And this is one of the most important aspects of acquiring land that a lot of people don't understand. If you acquire some land, well, it's a few things. Number one, if you acquire land, they can't force you to take anything. They can't demand you to do anything. They can't force you to comply with city ordinances that will force you to get your children injected with something. They can't force you to live by a certain set of rules in the city because you're on your land. Once you're on your land, there's a level of sovereignty that comes with land ownership where you have power that you don't have to do the things that the people in the city have to do. Think about that. Something else. When they come trying to knock on people's doors and be in people's business, they typically don't come on people's land. And when you have land, you can see them coming however much land you have in front of your front door, that distance away. So you can see them coming. It gives you time. And people ain't just quick to come on land because they don't know what's on that land. But it's easy to come knock on a front door. You see what I'm saying? But it's hard to navigate and walk through land and walk through an acre of land and walk all the way to the back. And now you stuck and surrounded by you don't know what. You see what I'm saying? People not quick to come on land. Land is dangerous. You feel me? Because it's only you don't know what way out and what's what. But to come knock on somebody's door is easy. But people ain't trying to really come on land. Land is protection. You can put protective barriers around yourself and protect yourself and your family. Land is everything. Land is one of the most important components of self-determination. And if you want to determine your life for yourself, you must first acquire that thing in which you can sit on for peace, for prayer, for meditation, for food. There are so many things you can do on your land. You can bury your ancestors on your land. I don't like cemeteries. There is no value in that for me. My goal is to make sure that my family, that we have our own place to make certain that we lay our family to rest that belongs to us, where we can always go and pray and communicate and meditate and can talk to our ancestors and just go visit them. So there's a power that comes with land ownership that I can't even articulate with my words. It's just something that you're going to need to experience for yourself. But once you do it, you will tell everybody in your family that they must do it. There is nothing more important right now. The answer to the equation of civil unrest, war, and pestilence is on land acquisition. That is the answer to that equation. That is the solution to that problem. So I started to discuss the problem, but I said, why discuss the problem when I can just discuss the solution? Land acquisition. Everything that we own and know that is important comes from the land. And I got about 10 minutes left. If you have any questions about land acquisition, what the process is, or what it looks like, or how do you do it, or what's step number one, just reach out and shoot something in the comments. Holler at us over on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Is there anything going on over there? I know I got my page up. I got people on my page rocking with me right now. I know 7 Mile Mark got his page banging. So I'm hoping this is reaching everyone that it needs to reach. I hope everyone is taking this information and writing things down. Landflip.com. Go to the land bank. Go to the Oakland County Land Bank. Google land acquisition or land for sale in any state that you may want to relocate to. Hey, what's up, Jemiah? How are you today? Glad to have you with us.
Something that was on my mind earlier in the conversation. So if someone wanted to acquire the land that their home sits on, that they live in right now in Detroit, would that be possible?
Absolutely. You actually own the land that your house sits on already.
Okay.
And all the way out to the burn, what they call the burn. The burn is public property. So it starts with the sidewalk out to the burn. That's public property. But the actual grass all the way to the backyard, when you look at your parcel ID and your parcel, your legal description of your land, it'll tell you that your land is like 107 feet by 86 feet. And then if you measure that out, that's typically from the front grass to the backyard and then the driveway to driveway. And that box that the land sits on that your property sits on, that's all your land.
Okay.
Now the property next door, the lot and all that. What's going on with you, Pittman Black? And, okay, inbox me, bro, for sure. I'll get right with you. I don't have Messenger on my phone, but as soon as I get back to my computer, I'll grab your number and I'll call you, bro, for sure. And but you always have first dibs on the vacant lot next to your house. And and that's always important to know. And I met a gentleman recently over in the Brightmoor, Elijah Howe area, over there on Otter Drive, over there near Malta, over there near Brightmoor, Otter Drive in 96. He owns about 20 lots. And he was just buying them. He's kind of like the block club guy. And so the city is just like, we know he take care of stuff. He take care of his business. So they gave him all these lots. He's thinking about building tiny homes. We kind of had a conversation about maybe a joint venture or what I might call a JV, and building a few tiny homes to see what that looks like and selling them and flipping them. And we haven't got to anything beyond a discussion. But he owns a lot of land over there. And if he needed to grow food to sustain his family, he could. Now, growing food in the inner city is a little tricky than growing food on your land in a rural area where you have much more privacy, because people will come pick carrots, pick potatoes. But in a way, it's really about feeding the people and showing love too. Now, if you just got bandits coming taking everything, you can't feed your family, that's different. I don't think it's going to be that way, though. I think people just going to grab something, and you have a pear tree. God provides enough for everybody. And that's another thing. You want to plant you a pear tree, an apple tree, and a peach tree if you can.
I remember back years
and a
ago
lemon tree
in the city, man. We had a lot of fruit trees in the backyards in a lot of these houses. Like we had a pear tree in my backyard. You know what I mean? It was cherry trees and all that. And they just planted. I think the community block club, or the neighborhood block club rather, just planted a farm. I'm not sure exactly what vegetables all they got over there. It's like maybe 2 blocks around. So I do see a lot of urban farming coming back.
Absolutely.
Especially around here in the city of Detroit. It's got a big one, I believe, off of 75 near I-75 or something, John R. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm coming back now.
That's the urban farming project. But I want to send a shout out to 2 men. Number one, I spoke on him already earlier today, and that's Baba Malik Yakini, D-Town Farms over there on Plymouth and Otter Drive. He has a huge amount of land, growing a lot of food, feeding a lot of people in the community, selling a lot of food, and providing that service for the people. He also, our family contributed to the food co-op, and they're building a grocery store / farmers market. I believe it's going to be a grocery store. Our family contributed financially to the project, and we are a part of the co-op for sure. And also shout out to the good brother Truth, Liberated Farm. He teaches the kids how to farm. So, and he builds raised beds and stuff like that. So shout out to those 2 brothers. Connect with them, find them. Malik Yakini on Facebook, and I forget Brother Truth's name on Facebook. I forget how to pronounce it. But if you ask enough people about Brother Truth and Liberated Farms, you'll find them. Okay. Like, it won't be a big deal. But the first thing is to talk to them just about growing food. Why it's important, and how do they do it? What are their processes? How do they keep the soil nourished? And how do they make the soil rich in order to grow good food? All of those things. And the best thing to do is go volunteer at D-Town Farms so you can learn how to grow. You volunteer a few times, you kind of learn. And that makes it easy. But growing food and owning land acquisition for the black man, there is nothing more revolutionary than the black man growing food and marrying a black woman and growing food on that land and teaching your children how to do it. That, you don't need nothing else. God will provide everything else for you. Let me read this real quick. I talked to my family about acquiring land to bury our ancestors because I don't like cemeteries or their processes. I have had bad experiences with them. Absolutely. And it sounds like Sister Toylene that you kind of like you are one of the matriarchs of the family, and you got to lead them. You got to pull their hand and lead them in the right direction, even if you have to buy the first acre. This is something that I learned, sis. A lot of people are not going to do it when you're in the planning stages, but if you just go do it, they're going to double back and say, oh, damn, that look good. That makes sense. Or I want to do that. Or we need to get that done. So sometimes you just have to just do it and then let everybody else follow suit. And I'm going to end the show right there because it's 11:57. And as per usual, I appreciate everybody who rocks with us, who follows us, who comes and views, and who supports us over here. Shout out to our sponsors who advertise with us, J. Romel's Cakery and the House of Healthy Living. Thank y'all very much. And I appreciate everybody to go always go to 7 Mile Radio's YouTube page to watch this live. And then you can go over to my YouTube page, Revolutionary Wealth Builders, to just get all things revolutionary wealth building, wealth, information, land acquisition, all the asset classes. So go to 7 Mile Radio on YouTube and you can always watch this live, or you can go to 7mileradio.com/Black Wealth and watch this. But go over to our YouTube page, Revolutionary Wealth Builders, and like, share, subscribe, smash the notification bell so you can always be notified when we make new videos. We're going to start going live more often. And become my friend on Facebook. Emmett Black, BLAC RWB. So Emmett Black RWB on Facebook. Holla at me on Facebook. Let's get those friends requests popping so we can always get that information out there to as many people as possible. All right, peace and love. We're going to catch up with y'all next Thursday at 11 a.m. on Revolutionary Wealth Builders on 7 Mile Radio. Peace.
Hello, Detroit. I'm Cynthia Deanna, the cake artist of J. Romel's Cakery. I specialize in custom cakes, weddings, baby showers, you name it. I do it all. I have an Instagram. You can find me on J. Romel's Cakery and Facebook as well under Cynthia Deanna. The contact number to book cakes is 248-910-3417. Book with us today. Hello, Detroit. I'm Cynthia Deanna, the cake artist of J. Romel's Cakery. I specialize.
Hello, Detroit. It's Dr. Carla from House of Healthy Living. If you or a loved one are struggling with a chronic condition and you want to walk the natural path, check me out on Instagram at A Dose of Dr. Carla, or you can find me on the web at www.houseofhealthyliving.com. That's house, H-A-U-S, of healthyliving.com. My phone number at the office is 313-946-9644. And the email address is info@houseofhealthyliving.com.